Hi, parents. I want to talk about the coming home contract. When your child is with us at Fire Mountain, there will be two coming home contracts. One will be for their week at home, and that should be around phase 2.5, and one will be for the final coming home when they're ready to graduate. The coming home contract is an important piece, and there's a lot of work to do with it. For example, there's a document that we want both you and your child to read. It's in the parent's handbook, and the child has a copy in their binder. Your child also has a coming home contract worksheet to do, and they do this the first time they do a coming home contract during their week at home. It asks them questions that help them create the coming home contract. Then they actually begin to create the coming home contract. They do it on Google Docs. They share it with you, the therapist, me, and they are allowed to work at it while they're at the facility. Then, in family therapy sessions, we want you and the child and the family therapist to begin working together on the coming home contract to negotiate the details of the contract itself. All of this will be followed by a checklist. Every time you guys meet and talk about the contract, and as you and your child make changes and email back and forth using Google Docs, the therapist will be signing off on the different parts of the contract done. When everybody's agreed, the date's been finalized, the contract is fulfilled. The reason why we do contracts is because A, it teaches kids contractual obligations that we all face as adults. B, it puts the burden upon the kids to create the ideas, the consequences, and the agreements that should take place at home. This allows the parents and the therapist to see what the kid's thinking. 3, it helps the family therapist work with the whole family, the kid and the parents, on their negotiating techniques and tactics. It's a good time to work out some of the old kinks and how, when we disagree with our children, we work through those disagreements with the therapist present to make sure everybody's doing their work. When it's time for the final coming home contract, that process will be much easier because you do not have to go through the entire process again. The child just needs to redo the week at home contract, but make it more just updated into a version that facilitates the final coming home. Whatever you do with this process, and however long it takes your child and you, don't skip it. And make sure, as parents, that you are following your part of this contract. The worst thing that we have seen in this work with kids and coming home contracts have been parents not fulfilling their parts, that their agreements. Everything we do for children, we must do through modeling. Everything we want to teach children, we must model for them. If we expect children to do these things, then as adults we must do these things. So make sure that we do as adults, that we demonstrate that we are willing to do and agree to these things. And if we're not willing to agree to them, then we don't. We continue the negotiation process. But once we agree upon the things in the contract, we follow through on them. That brings up a second point. If your child is writing something that you don't like, assume that they're writing it because it's something they want. When it's something they want, you know that if you press back on it, that they might get upset. That's okay. We're going to hold boundaries as parents, and we're going to be okay with our kids getting upset. Problem is, the way they got upset in the past caused them to do damage, perhaps to themselves or a family member or just the family system in general. Well, this time we're going to navigate it. We're going to use nonviolent communication. We're going to mirror. We're going to validate. We're going to empathize with the child as they try to express to us as adults what they think they deserve and what they think they want. This allows us to teach negotiation in a proper way, something that they're going to carry with them for the rest of their lives. So when they come with outrageous claims, I think that staying out till 1 a.m. on school nights is a perfectly reasonable idea for a 14-year-old. That might be something that is written into their contract. Come back level-headed, come back well-regulated, and come back with things like, I'm willing to let my 14, 15-year-old child stay out till 8 o'clock on a school night. I'm willing to negotiate a later time for weekends. What do you think? Well, I think I should stay later. I know, I'm telling you what I'm willing to do and willing not to agree to. We always want to keep it about what we're willing to do or not willing to do. Not what they should do, not what they shouldn't do. Well, you shouldn't be writing that. You shouldn't assume that a child can stay out till 1 a.m. in the morning. What you need to understand, none of those work. None of them work whatsoever. As parents, we need to come at the contract with what we are willing to do and what we are not willing to do, not with what we expect the child to do. That's an important piece, and it's also part of Love and Logic, something we'll be teaching you at the Parent Weekend. The bottom line is this for the coming home contract. Read your paperwork and go through that coming home contract at least 3 times with your family therapist. The family therapists know this, they expect this, and your children know this. And we expect the children to write the first draft. You make and suggest and make edits and suggest edits. Child will write the second draft. You make and suggest edits. The child will write the third draft. Third draft should be the one we agree upon, hopefully. And then and only then can we move forward to the actual pass itself. I'll see you at the next video. I hope this helps with the coming home contract piece. If you have any questions, please talk to your family therapist. We'll talk soon.